To get a cool anime merch like this and more, click the link in the description.
してない俺たちがワンオンワンなんかやったって勝てるわけあるまい。
誰も1対1なんて言ってませんよ。
あ
？5対1でいい。全員まとめて相手になります。
Lacking what is considered the most important asset in basketball, Sora Kurumatani has struggled with his short height since the inception of his love for the game. Despite missing this beneficial aspect, Sora's unwavering drive never allowed his small stature to dictate his ability to play, believing strongly in trying his hardest and persistently practicing to prove his capability. In hopes of satisfying his mother's wishes, Sora enters Kuzuryu High School to become a member of the basketball club and compete wholeheartedly in tournaments. However, Sora is disappointed to find out that the boys' basketball team is nothing but a retreat for punks who have no interest in the sport. Sora also comes to learn that brothers Chiaki and Momoharu Hanazono, whom he becomes acquainted with, have also lost their once-spirited motivation to play. Gradually affected by Sora's impressive skills, sheer effort, and tireless devotion to basketball, the boys unexpectedly find their burned-out passion for the game rekindling once.
こっからは相撲の時間じゃ。とくと味わえ。はっきよい。
In professional sumo, there are no weight classes. It's a savage sport where the strongest survive and anyone willing to test their mettle can step into the ring. There is, however, a minimum size requirement to be a pro sumo wrestler, and young Hinomaru Ushio, incredibly talented and hardworking though he may be, does not meet that requirement. This small boy has big dreams of reaching the highest class of sumo, Hinoshita Kaisan. The only way he could possibly go pro is if he becomes the high school Yokozuna, a title given to the strongest wrestler in high school tournaments. Ushio is under a lot of pressure as well as a time limit. If he can show off his skills in the high school tournaments, he may lose his chance to go pro permanently, and the odds are stacked against him. Instead of enrolling in Ishigami High, the best school for sumo in Japan, he enrolls in Odachi High and must build a sumo club from the ground up with one devout member, Shinya Ozaki. Odachi High is a true underdog of the sumo world, but Ushio has to push forward with all his strength if he's going to make it professionally.
戦車道を学べば必ずや良き妻、良き母、良き職業婦人になれることでしょう。健康的で優しくたくましいあなたは多くの男性に好意を持って受け入れられるはずです。
Senshado is a traditional sport using World War II era tanks in elimination-based matches. Widely practiced by women and girls alike, it's advertised as a form of art geared towards making ladies more prominent in culture and appealing to men. Becoming a worldwide phenomenon over time, the influence of Senshado leads to the creation of a world championship which will soon be held in Japan. Miho Nishizumi, who comes from a lineage of well-respected Senshado specialists, is at odds with the sport after a traumatic event led to her retirement and eventually a rift to form between her and her family. To steer clear of the practice as much as possible, she transfers to Orai Girl High School where the Senshado program has been abolished. However, with the news of the upcoming championship, the school revives the tankery program and Miho is pushed into joining. Now, with the aid of some new friends, she must overcome her past and once again take command of a squadron of tanks in an effort to save her school from closure, all while proving to her family that the Nishizumi style of Senshado is not solely about victory. He is charming, cool, athletic, a good cook, but more importantly, he's a clean freak. Aoyama is idolized and respected by everyone, but they can only admire him from afar due to his misophobia. Despite that, he plays soccer, a rather dirty sport. As a playmaker for Fujimi High School Soccer Club, Aoyama avoids physical contact at all costs and clearly dribbles towards victory. However, the path to nationals will not be easy for Fujimi's underdog team. But alongside striker Kaoru Zaizen, Aoyama will show everyone that even as a clean freak, there are things he's willing to get dirty for.
先生なんか軽く三振取っちゃうもんね。そう簡単にはいかないわよ。
Goro Honda, a little boy obsessed with baseball, has always admired his father Shigeharu. Wishing to follow in his father's footsteps, Goro dreams of becoming a professional baseball player. In turn, his son's starry-eyed admiration encourages Shigeharu to keep playing, despite his late wife's death and his unsatisfying position on the second-string team Blue Ocean. Unfortunately, an elbow injury forces Shigeharu off the team and he falls into despair. However, after an offhand joke from his childhood friend, Shigeharu reevaluates his choices and decides to keep playing, leaving behind his prime position as pitcher and taking up the bat. Now motivated more than ever, Goro works hard to carve his way in the Japanese Little League.
Yoi! Hey!
East Tokyo United, or ETU, has been struggling in Japan's top soccer league for the past few years. It has taken everything they have just to avoid relegation. To make matters even worse, the team has lost 5 matches in a row, leading to abysmal team morale. Even the fans are beginning to abandon them, and rumors hint that the home ground municipality is going to withdraw their support. With countless coaches fired and poor financial choices in hiring players, it is a downward spiral for ETU. The board of directors, under pressure from general manager Kosei Goto, takes a gamble and hires a new coach, the slightly eccentric Takeshi Tatsumi. Though considered a great soccer player when he was younger, Tatsumi abandoned ETU years ago. However, since then he has proven himself successful as the manager of one of England's lower division amateur teams. Tatsumi's task won't be easy. ETU fans call him a traitor and the team is pitted against others with larger budgets and better players. Yet even the underdog can take down a Goliath, and Tatsumi claims he's an expert at giant killing.
4万ドルだ。全然構わねえよ、俺は。なんならハンデもやろうか。そうだな。俺の投げるボールに当てさえすれば、お前の勝ちってのでどうだ。
Towa Tokuchi is an athlete by profession but a reckless gambler at heart. On the streets of Okinawa, he uses nothing but his wits and a fastball peaking at a mere 134 km per hour to somehow achieve 499 wins in the game of one-outs, a simplified version of baseball between the pitcher and one batter. Amazed by Towa's unique prowess on the mound, veteran slugger Hiromichi Kojima artfully scouts the pitcher to his long unsuccessful team, the Saikyo Saitama Lycanes. Kojima desperately hopes Towa will lead them to a championship, however Tsuneo Saikawa, the mercenary owner of the Lycanes, sees the vastly talented pitcher as a threat to the income generated by the team. Rising to the challenge of swaying the owner, Towa suggests a one-of-a-kind one-outs contract. Every out Towa pitches will earn him 5 million yen, but with every run he gives up, he will lose 50 million. Adapted from the manga by Shinobu Kaitani of Liar Game fame, One Outs documents the intense psychological battles between Towa and those around him. With millions of yen at stake, can a pitcher who has done nothing but gamble in a head-to-head imitation of a baseball finally lead a real baseball team to victory?
よっしゃ翔ちゃん頼んだトスミスドリブルは取られてないでもそっちには誰も
Inspired after watching a volleyball ace nicknamed Little Giant in action, small-statured Choyo Hinata revives the volleyball club at his middle school. The newly formed team even makes it to a tournament, however, their first match turns out to be their last, when they are brutally squashed by the king of the court, Tobio Kageyama. Hinata vows to surpass Kageyama, and so after graduating from middle school, he joins Karasuno High School volleyball team, only to find that his sworn rival, Kageyama, is now his teammate. Thanks to his short height, Hinata struggles to find his role on the team, even with his superior jumping power. Surprisingly, Kageyama has his own problems that only Hinata can help with, and learning to work together appears to be the only way for the team to be successful. Based on Haruichi Furudate's popular shonen manga of the same name, Haikyuu is an exhilarating and emotional sport comedy following two determined athletes as they attempt to patch a heated rivalry in order to make their high school volleyball team the best in Japan.
お前がコートに君臨する王様ならそいつを倒して俺が一番長くコートに立ってや
黒子くんってこの中にいる？
ああ、あの抵抗中の。
あんな強豪にいたんなら 見りゃすぐわかると思ったんだけど。今日は休みみたいね。いいよ、じゃあ練習始めよう。
すいません。黒子は僕です。
Teiko Junior's high school basketball team is crowned champion 3 years in a row thanks to the 5 outstanding players who with their breathtaking and unique skills leave opponents in despair and fans in admiration. However, after graduating, these teammates, known as the Generation of Miracles, go their separate ways and now consider each other as rivals. At Serin High School, 2 newly recruited freshmen prove that they are not ordinary basketball players. Taiga Kagami, a promising player returning from the US, and Tetsuya Kuroko, a seemingly ordinary student whose lack of presence allows him to move around unnoticed. Although Kuroko is neither athletic nor able to score any points, he was a member of Teiko's basketball team where he played as a phantom 6-man who easily passed the ball and assisted his teammates. Kuroko no Basket follows the journey of Serin's players as they attempt to become the best Japanese high school team by winning the Inter-High Championship. To reach their goal, they have to cross pathways with several powerful teams, some of which have one of the 5 players with godlike abilities, whom Kuroko and Taiga make a pact to defeat.
なあ、走るの好きか？走るの好きか？
Former ace runner of Sendai Josei High School, Kakeru Kurahara, is chased away from a convenience store for shoplifting. Shaking off his pursuer, he runs into Haiji Kiyose, another student from his university. Haiji is impressed by Kakeru's ability and persuades him to live in Chikusei So, the rundown apartment where Haiji resides along with 8 other students. Having lost his entire apartment deposit at the mahjong parlor, Kakeru accepts the offer reluctantly. However, Haiji reveals a secret during Kakeru's welcoming party. The apartment is actually the dormitory of the Kansei University Trek Club. He unveils his ultimate goal of participating in the Hakone Ekiden, one of the most prominent university marathon relay races in Japan. Unfortunately, all the residents apart from Haiji and Kakeru are complete running novices. Worse still, none of the inhabitants are even remotely interested in being involved with Haiji's ridiculous plan. With only months before the deadline, will the 4th-year student be able to convince them otherwise and realize his elusive dream of running in the Hakone Ekiden?